Hello, everybody. It has been a long time since I have used my voice in any of my videos, but today is the day since we hit 100 a little bit ago. And thank all you guys a lot for that. But anyway, today we will be talking about 2011X, the good, the bad, and the ugly. As someone who mains X, I find him very fun to play, but also incredibly annoying. A lot of people tend to say that he's very either underpowered or overpowered, which is very mixed within the community. But I guess I'd say he is a little overpowered against specific characters and on specific maps. But I feel like specific moves are a lot more necessary than others. For example, let's take invisibility. Invisibility is probably the most needed move in X's kit to ever exist, I guess. It can help you catch up to survivors. It's pretty much your own tracker. And also, you can pop out of absolutely nowhere and start getting some hits in. Now, moves like charge just they aren't good. It's literally only a finisher move, and that's all it works as. Charge is just not a very good move for catching up with people, because that can be used with invis or God's trickery. Not good for like dealing damage, because if there's a big team, then you're immediately gonna get stunned, or they could just break out. And also, it's just not good for anything but killing someone when they're defenseless. Anyway, there's also God's Trickery, which I'd say is both a good and a bad move, but I'd mainly say that it's only good in LMS, or like when there's only two people. Because if you're really on someone, you're trying to kill them, and like you lose them and you use God's Trickery to someone else, then it's gonna get a little frustrating, isn't it? Now, take for example, you are chasing down Cream. She's on last life, she's one shot, but she dashes away. You don't have charge, and you want to use Trickery. But then you use Trickery to Knuckles, who immediately counters you, and then punches off of that counter. That's gonna get annoying, and you also can't find Cream anymore, especially on a big map like Mystic Cave or like Green Hill. Now, for what I've been trying to talk about, which would be Rage Mode. Well, if you. The entire meaning of Rage Mode is to be stunned just enough to get your Rage meter all the way up, which it's called Short Temper. But once it activates, you have probably one of the most overpowered things, and also the most underpowered things to ever be in outcome memories for a killer. For example, in Rage Mode, it gives you complete iframes while you start it up, but you also can't move. And it increases your speed by a ton. I don't know the exact number because I don't know. And also, like, you you do 54 damage, I believe, to balance it out, and that means you can two shot the average survivor, excluding someone like Shadow or Metal Sonic. The only setback that I really do not like about Rage Mode is just like how much it can backfire on you. Maybe you get stun reduction, maybe you don't. But when you try to use when as someone who's supposed to be faster and stronger, when you try to use Invis, which is his best move, it slows you down to walk speed, and then gives you an indicator for like 3 seconds. And that just not it just doesn't work. It has never worked. Now you can use charge while doing that, but if you're not trying to use charge and if you're trying to save it or something, or you don't have it yet, then There's absolutely no point instead of just tracking someone down uh, randomly and hitting them to get indicator. Anyway, back in 0.1, um, rage mode was a lot more necessary and a lot easier to use, only because the survivors weren't nearly as annoying as they are now, like with Silver or Shadow. And rage mode is especially good against Metal Sonic, which, like, I feel like rage mode is just Metal Sonic's worst nightmare, and it's incredibly overpowered against him specifically. Well, people like Sonic, if you play Sonic and not perfect against X and Rage Mode and you're alone, which I've done twice actually, you can easily survive that. I've done that twice. And it's incredibly easy. Where the 2011X is bad? I wouldn't say that, but like, their skill wasn't as high as your average X main. Anyway, what I mean to say is that X is a very mid character. He kind of belongs in OM, but also like he seems so odd as an ambush killer. Like a lot of his moves just tell everyone where he is in the first place. For example, charge. Whoever you charge is just gonna put an indicator on them to every other survivor on the map. I don't think that you're gonna be very quiet then. Trickery, everybody knows when you use it. It flashes their screen black. Invis, someone like Tails can see you, and Metal Sonic has a little beeping, and all that. What I also do not like is how inconsistent the end lag for invisibility is. You could be like 2 studs away and somehow you don't get end lag. But you could also be like 15 studs away and you could still get end lag. Like, so usually I try to dive bomb, but also dive bombs suck too. X is a very predictable character too, because usually when they use invis, then you're probably gonna know exactly what they do if you play him a lot. Because it's pretty much just cut and dry and almost all the same with him. Anyway, I also do believe that X needed his rework, even though it was pulled from the game, same with the model. But since Outcome Memories is canceled now, or whatever's going on with it, I don't know if they're gonna add anything for the final batch. But I like X. Okay? Like I find him as I find him as both balanced and unbalanced. He can be very overpowered but also incredibly underpowered. He's not incredibly lopsided. But I don't think that he works as a beginner friendly killer, because he's not. Not at all. He requires a ton of skill. I feel like a more beginner friendly character would be someone like Colossus, who it's very straightforward of what you have to do. And like X being the only killer that was in 0.1 made it incredibly easy to get bullied unless you had rage mode. Like when I was in 0.1, I was not that good with X, okay? Like it was nearly pathetic. But now that I go back to 0.1A, he's still pretty underpowered. I feel like his 0.2 buffs were very needed. But also what would work better than just buffs would be, a rework. Now, otherwise, X is a very decent character. He's not an exact counter to anyone like other characters might be. And it can be either annoying to play as him or very cool to play as him. And, yeah. X can also be a very smart pick in LMS against almost any character, but it also kind of depends on the map. Now, against Eggman specifically on YCR specifically in LMS, you're not winning that. You are not going to win LMS against Eggman on YCR as X. Anyway, I think that doing around 45 damage with one M1 is pretty good. I think that's good. He is a good rushdown. He can catch up to you quickly. And also, he can be very annoying to fight and also very easy to fight. It really depends. Anyway, sorry about the quality of my voice. I don't have my mic, and it kind of sucks. But when I do get my mic, it'll sound much better, I swear. And thank you all a lot for getting me to 100 subs. So, yeah.
Listen, stop talking about race. I'm gonna put you